Look, you're not going to want to hear this, and I know you're probably going to roll your eyes at my advice, but if you're watching this video, then it's because your health is not where you'd like it to be. So I'm sorry, but I'm bringing in the tough love and telling you that it's time to get off your high horse, stop dismissing these life-changing tips, and actually start putting them into action. Hello and welcome. My name is Madison Dohnt, and here on this channel I teach you the science behind health so that you can understand your body and become your healthiest you. In today's video I'm going to discuss a very important topic of healing that you may think is common sense, but it really truly does make a huge difference to all symptoms and health conditions, so it's really important that you watch the whole video. Today I'm going to be talking about a hormone called cortisol. So to be clear, cortisol is a chemical hormone, also known as a chemical messenger, that travels through the bloodstream, switching off some systems and throwing others into overdrive. Cortisol is also known as the stress hormone, and it's the hormone that determines whether we are in the fight or flight mode or in the rest and digest and heal mode. So while we're learning to balance out our hormones, cortisol plays a very important role in this. Cortisol can increase testosterone, causing acne and other hormonal imbalances, increase insulin resistance, causing weight gain, overstimulate the nervous system, causing anxiety, impair metabolism, and put extra pressure on the heart, causing high blood pressure and a world of other health conditions. Therefore, the tips in this video can help with weight loss, long-term heart health, reducing anxiety and depression, and just about any other symptoms that have anything to do with the body systems involved in the fight or flight response, which is pretty much all of them. So the first thing that you can do is support your body's natural circadian rhythm. Now, your circadian rhythm is your body's natural energy cycle throughout the day, and this also reflects your body's 24-hour cortisol cycle. Now, it's perfectly normal and very important that your cortisol does fluctuate and go up and down throughout the day, but what's important is making sure that it is regulated and that it goes up and down at the right times. Sleep helps regulate cortisol and is also the time where the body does not have to put any of its energy into the normal everyday functioning, so it can focus more readily on healing and restoring the body to its maximum potential. Therefore, if you're struggling with any symptoms or a health condition, this is when your body is going to do the most healing. Before electricity was invented, our bodies naturally became tired at sunset and energized at sunrise, as cortisol is very much reliant on light. Now, with electricity and the blue light from our phones, TVs, and computers, our cortisol levels can remain high well into the night when they would otherwise start to fall. This is why it's super important to reduce blue light after sunset so that our cortisol levels still naturally fall. This can be done by using a warm lamp while reading before bedtime and shutting off from electronics completely. Although I know that these days that's not exactly realistic, so it's really important that you also invest in some blue light blocking glasses or put night mode on your devices. I get my blue light frames from Oscar Wiley, and what I really love and why I choose to go to them is because you can pretty much pick any of the frames in their store and they can make them into blue light glasses. So these are just like your average glasses that people can actually put prescriptions in, but I have put the blue light blocking lens in, and now I wear them when the sun goes down if I'm editing a video or doing other work on my computer or even using my phone. I actually have a little reminder in my phone to put these on, and it goes off every day at sunset. So I have these ones, but I've also got these ones that I got beforehand. These are also from Oscar Wiley, and again, I just picked the frames that I liked and then we turned them into blue light glasses. So this means that you can actually have frames that suit your face, and that you don't need to have the same blue light blocking glasses as everybody else, because if you go and buy the ones that are already blue light blocking, you only have a choice from maybe 10 frames. You don't have a choice from a whole store worth of frames to suit different face types and yeah, all of that. So I really like personalizing all of my things, and yeah, I really like these. I'll show you what they look like. You'll probably be able to see the light in them. I have to look down because otherwise you can see the ring light. I honestly don't know how people with glasses like film. I look like a bug. What the hell? It's also a great idea if you're having trouble sleeping and regulating your circadian rhythm that you try sleep teas with lavender in it, and even essential oils. I have a really amazing sleep oil that I use. I might actually have it here somewhere. Yep, this one here. So it has lavender and frankincense in there, and that combination of essential oils is amazing for sleep. So when I just used lavender on its own, I used to put a drop on my pillow, and sometimes I still will, but this one is actually yellow. So I went to do that the other day and I turned my pillow yellow. So not a good idea. But it also has, I'll put a list of ingredients that this oil has up on here, and you can get that one if you like, but I really like it. It works a treat, and I just put it in my diffuser, and yeah, I just have that going as I fall asleep. So I know the combination of lavender and frankincense is incredible, so I also have a candle with that combination in it as well, and yeah, it just really helps to put me in that relaxed state, ready for bed. The other thing that you can do to help regulate your circadian rhythm and to regulate your cortisol cycle throughout the day is to cut out coffee. Now, I've done this, it's not hard. Maybe for the first week it's a little bit tricky, but other than that, it just becomes a normal habit and you don't even think about it, because once you stop giving yourself that option, then you just don't even contemplate it anymore. Whereas if you only half give up coffee, then some days you'll be like, oh yeah, I kind of think that I deserve a coffee today, and then you'll just end up doing that every day, and then you'll go back to drinking coffee every day. So I feel like you have to just make the cut. I still do have coffee rarely, maybe once a week max, when I really need to get stuff done if I've had a terrible sleep the night before, but I really don't even think about it as an option these days. But cutting out coffee is going to be amazing, because what coffee does is it spikes your adrenaline, it spikes your cortisol. I know it makes you feel amazing because I am so much more productive when I have it, but that's only because now I don't have that dependence on it. Whereas when you do have, or when you get used to having one coffee a day, that just becomes your norm and it doesn't have the same effect. Also, it spikes your cortisol way too high, and therefore it drops way too low when it shouldn't, and it really throws out that natural cycle. So I'll put a picture of the natural cortisol cycle on the screen so that you can see when your cortisol should be peaking and when it should be dropping. And if you have a coffee, particularly if you have it after midday, it really throws this all out, and it means that I actually read somewhere that, I think it was actually in a podcast that I listened to last week, that caffeine stays, so one shot of caffeine is still in your system 12 hours later. So if you have a coffee at midday, you still have caffeine in your system at midnight, which can really, like I said, just throw off your sleep, and sleep is so important for healing. So it's really important that you appreciate that, I guess, and actually try and prioritize your body and its healing mechanisms over the little rush that coffee is going to give you, particularly if you don't even get that rush anymore, if you just rely on it every day. So there are other things that you can use, like green tea, that are a little bit more gentle if you need to, and yeah, I recommend that you attempt to cut out coffee if you're serious about healing. So the second tip I have for you is to bring joy and play back into your life. What do you love doing? What makes you happy? Serotonin is a super important hormone, and it is the mood boosting hormone that travels all around the body and makes a huge difference to your day. Serotonin, I actually did an assignment on serotonin last week, and it is actually crucial in the process to making melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. So if you are not making that mood boosting hormone serotonin, then you will find it very difficult to make melatonin. So it's really important to just, and it just makes life better in general, to do more of what makes you happy and to do more of what you love. So if you want to heal, then the best thing that you can do for yourself is just to do more activities that you love, which will also end up relieving you of stresses as well. So it's a win-win all round. My third tip for healing faster is exercise. Now, this one shouldn't come as a surprise, but the important part of this is that you're doing exercise that you enjoy, that feels good, and that you love. So according to my research and my own personal experience, but mostly my research, the best types of exercise for long-term health are things like weight resistance, Pilates, yoga, and walking. But that's not to say that you shouldn't be doing the other types of exercise if that's what your body craves and if that's what you enjoy. So take HIIT, for example. If you are only doing HIIT because you need to lose weight and you're really stressed about that and you're just flogging yourself in the gym trying to do any and every class that is going to make you burn as many calories as you possibly can as fast as possible, then it may actually end up doing the opposite, because if it throws you into that fight or flight state, then what happens is your digestive system and metabolism can actually end up shutting down, which is the total opposite thing that you want to do when you're trying to lose weight. So whatever exercise you choose to do, you can lose weight even just by doing yoga and walking. So if you want to do HIIT, if your body craves it, if your body feels good doing HIIT, mine feels good doing HIIT maybe once or twice a week. Any more than that and I'm just exhausted and stressed. So just listen to your body. If you want to do HIIT more often than that, then do it, but don't feel like you have to. Move your body because you want to, not because you have to, unless you don't move your body at all, and then in that case do it because you have to, but find exercises that you want to do, if that makes sense. I'm sure that you can find something that you love, even if it's like random, like rock climbing or dancing or playing with a puppy. Like, just find some way to move your body and then it can count as exercise. Now, the fourth way to heal faster is to quieten the mind. Now, it may be hard to imagine how the mind and the body are related, but they really are, because once you are stressed, your body systems and all that healing shuts down because you're no longer in that rest and digest stage. You are in the fight or flight mode. So you need to be in the rest and digest if you want to heal. So this best looks like breathing really slowly, doing meditation and yoga, mainly because it's really, really hard to be stressed and really on edge and in that fight or flight mode when you're breathing and moving really slowly. So it almost tricks the body into getting out of a stressed state. Now, if this doesn't work for you, then I just recommend that you find what best does work for you. I don't particularly like just sitting there and meditating to silence, but what really calms me down is listening to guided meditations and affirmations, and even doing some visualizations as well. I know I'm just throwing out a lot of Asian words there, but what they really do is they open up your imagination and allow for creativity, so you can really think about what it is you want, what it is that makes you happy, and thinking of all those positive thoughts and thinking of, I guess, a future that is exactly what you want it to be is just really reassuring and calming. So if you do struggle to sit there and meditate, then I recommend that you try that, or you could even just go on a walk with some really calming music, and that can just really put your body at ease rather than doing some intense exercise like we talked about in the last point. So just finding whatever works for you to quieten the mind. You might even get really relaxed cooking. Not me, I don't like cooking, but if you really love baking and you don't even think about anything when you're in the kitchen because you're just there doing your thing, then maybe that can be the activity that you use to quieten your mind. My fifth tip to healing faster is self-awareness. So taking responsibility and control. You've got this and you are in control of your body and your life. Mindset is everything, and it's important to remind yourself that you are not a victim of your circumstances. Sure, we each have different difficulties thrown our way throughout life, but you are in control of what you do about it. So you can either change your circumstance, but if you can't change your circumstance, then you can change your perception of that situation. So let's first dive into what it means to change your circumstances. So you have a lot more control over your life than you give yourself credit for. And whether you do something about your unfavorable circumstance or whether you don't, that's still a choice that you're making, because if you choose not to do anything, that's still a decision. So you have control whether you do something about it or whether you don't do something about it. For example, if you're in negative friendships that only make you feel bad about yourself, but maybe you've been friends with this person for a while, so you feel like you can't say no, just know that you can. You are in control of who you surround yourself with in life. And if these people are not making you feel good about yourself, then just don't surround yourself with them. I know that this is a bit hard to do in high school, but once you get out of high school, you have total control over who you see and who you don't. So just remember that just because you have a history with that person, if they don't align with your current values, if they don't make you feel good, you don't need to remain friends with them. Or even if you do remain just kind of friendly with them, you don't need to hang out with them. It's totally up to you, that boundary that you set. But at the end of the day, who you surround yourself with is up to you, and you need to make sure that you're being surrounded by people who lift you up and make you feel amazing. This is also the case if you are in a bad relationship. Maybe you're with someone who always puts you down in front of your friends, or maybe they always just treat you really poorly. Maybe they have double standards and they're allowed to go out with their friends, but you're not allowed to go out with your friends. Just really try and read the red flags in your relationship. If this person is not treating you as amazing as you deserve to be treated, then what are you doing? I know I'm single. I know that it's hard to find goodies out there, but I would so much rather be single than to be with someone who makes me feel terrible about myself or who doesn't treat me like I deserve. So at the end of the day, you have that choice. And I would hope that you would also think that it would be better to be single and be your own cheerleader than to be in a relationship that drags you down and makes you feel terrible about yourself, because who wants that for the rest of their life? Or maybe you're working double time at work just to be able to save up to afford something that you want. Maybe it's your dream house, which is amazing and you should definitely go for that, but you don't want to die trying. You don't want to burn out in the meantime. Or maybe you're trying to launch a product and you're really putting in your everything, you're barely sleeping because you just want to get it done. But if you go through burnout, it's going to take a lot longer to get to that end goal than if you were to play an endurance game and get there slowly. So you just need to remember what your priorities are as well. And if health is a big priority of yours, if you are not feeling confident because you are breaking out, then maybe it's time that you step back in order to step forwards and heal and become that person that you want to be. And you will slowly get towards your goals. You don't need to do it tomorrow if that means that you are sabotaging your body and your health in the process. So just remember that you can still have what you want and go after your dreams, but you need to think about your priorities and what you're willing to sacrifice for that. And if you are working all through the night and getting barely any sleep, it really does not allow your body the time to heal. So it's just something that you need to weigh up. What is clear skin worth to you? So everything you do in life stems from a series of choices, whether conscious or subconscious. So if you are not too sure where to start, then I highly recommend that you read my two favorite books. The first one called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a and the second one called You're a Badass at Making Money. I'm a very slow reader and I hate repeating things, but these are the only two books in my life so far that I have read twice, so I do highly recommend them. And then to quickly explain the other choice that you have, which is changing your perception. So stress does not affect everyone equally, because you might get a bill in the mail and it might completely stress you out, but then if someone else were to get a bill in the mail for the exact same amount, they may not be fussed because they've saved for it, so they're not under stress. So even the same circumstance can stress different people out in a totally different way. So it really is perception based, your stresses. And so what you can actually do to change your perception about something is either meditate or journal and do gratefulness as well. So I really, really love journaling and I really recommend it. I don't do it every day. I don't even really do it often, but whenever I'm not feeling very good about something or whenever I've got a big decision to make, I will always bring out my book and I will journal on it. In fact, at the start of the year, I was actually ready to buy a house. I had my pre-approval from the bank and I had my house deposit and I was ready to go. And I was like, okay, I'm 25. It's smart to get into the property market. And yeah, I was gonna do it. But then my options were I could either buy a house that was going to be like 50 minutes out of the city, or I could move straight into the city. I am like walking distance from smack bang in the middle of Brisbane City. And that is really the life that I wanted for myself this year. And so what I actually did when I was really stressed out about this decision that I had to make, it wasn't even really a decision. I was really set on the house thing, but something in me just really didn't feel right. I felt, it was just my intuition like sending signals to me like this isn't right, it doesn't feel right. And so I journaled on it and I came to the decision that what do I really see for myself in the next 2 years? Do I see myself living in that house? Because I had to live in it for, the rules in Australia are a bit weird, but I had to live in it for a year before I could rent it out. And so I was like, okay, well, for the next year at least, do I see myself living halfway between the Sunshine Coast and Brisbane, which means I'm not in either location that I want to be and I won't know anyone, or do I want to move smack bang into the middle of the city? And that's really what I wanted. I knew that it would just set my soul on fire and motivate me to go after my dreams in my business. And so I journaled on it, and I really went with what would make me happy, and I didn't just dive into the property market for the sake of it. So journaling was a huge part in that process for me. I journaled pretty much every day when I was going through that process of almost buying a house, and I just did what was right for me. And that's not to say that that's going to be right for you. Getting into the property market is definitely really a smart idea, but I just highly recommend that if there is something that is upsetting you, you need to journal it out. So I'll have to do a separate video on it, but basically you just want to write down what exactly it is that is upsetting you and how you can change your mindset about it. What are some other ways that you can think about it, or what are some good things that can come out of this situation? So always trying to focus on the good, doing your gratefulness, and really just doing what you can to change your perception about this situation if it's one that you can't change. To summarize tip number 5, in short, I just want you to be calm, get clear, change what you can control, and let go of what you can't. If you enjoyed this video and vow to putting in place good habits to reduce your stress moving forward, then make sure to like this video below and also subscribe for more tips like these. Also be sure to come and join our community over on Instagram, where we all encourage each other and work together to become our healthiest selves. Even just the other week we did a water challenge, which was really motivating and actually helped me drink more water each day. So I think I'm definitely going to have to do a sleep challenge next. Let me know in the comments what healthy habits you're going to implement after this video so that we can continue to motivate each other. But that's all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video next week.